We're live. Hi, everyone joining us today. Oh, I want to grab my iPad too. Thanks so much for joining us today for Virtual Convention Q&A. I am Amanda Bruce.
And I am Berta Sabrio, and we're so happy to have you here with us today.
Thank you for tuning in today. After the last virtual convention Q&A went so well, we had a lot of requests to do another one. So here we are. We are here to talk with you again about different various aspects of not just the convention today, but mostly about the convention. Now, before we really dig into things though, Berta, we had the virtual women's retreat last week. It was May 21st, 22nd, and 23rd. Would you mind just sharing a couple sentences about how that went?
Sure. It was a great event. We were really thrilled to be there and to figure out exactly how it was kind of the premier event for us. How was this virtual platform going to work for us? And were we actually going to be able to feel like we were connected with one another? And I have to tell you, the team had a lot of trepidation. And were we going to be able to manage the technology? Would we feel like we were all by ourselves? And surprisingly, the Holy Spirit just blew in and really connected all of us, and our attendees just had a great experience. We've had some great comments from evaluations, how while it was definitely different, it was a great experience. And in its uniqueness, it fed a different part of their spirit. So we're really thrilled and looking forward to all of the events that we have coming up in the next few weeks.
Very cool, very cool. Yeah, it was nice to read some of the feedback that we got. It was truthful. You know, it definitely said that some people experienced it different than an in-person in-person retreat, and that's totally okay. Well, good. I'm so glad to hear that it went well. Of course, I loved reading the results and the survey and everything like that. I do want to let everyone know, as we are on this live stream, I do see your comments. We do see that you're here. Thank you so much that you're watching with us today. If you have any questions about the topics that we're covering today, we're going to do, of course, Q&A at the end. So feel free to put them in the comment section of the Facebook stream anytime, and we will address them at the end. So anyways, let's see. So we talked about, of course, the women's convention, but the women's retreat. I've been saying convention too many times. The women's retreat. Let's talk a little bit about some of the other summer formation events that we're having. So summer formation events, what does that mean?
So, normally at convention, we spend the entire day on Monday and sometimes partially on Sunday doing events that are outside of the convention track. This year we had so much planned. We had our Chant Institute, we had a Technology Institute, we had a multicultural event that we had planned, we had a One Call Institute event planned, we had our organ crawl, Kentucky Holy Land. I mean, just 2 full pages of events planned. And when we became a virtual event, we didn't want to lose those because they're so special. And we thought, what a great way for us to be able to offer this, because generally when you're at the convention, you can really only attend one of those because they overlap. It's difficult to attend more than one and be able to be present to all of them. So we picked and chose what we thought would be able to translate well and talked with the speakers. And I think we've come up with a great list. So let me just give you the list quickly, and then we can talk a little bit more in depth. Technology Institute is coming. We also have Chant Institute coming. The Dmmd Retreat is coming. Additionally, we do have the organ crawl, and we will have the Kentucky Holy Land tour. So already lots of things that are coming as precursors to the week of the convention. And I will tell you that the first one is our Technology Institute, which is happening next week. And we're really lucky because our primary speaker, Amanda Bruce, is here with us and can tell us more about it.
Oh, well, shucks. Thanks so much. I'm so glad you mentioned it, of course. So we are first hosting the technology distance learning session next week. It's Monday night, Tuesday night, and Wednesday night. And it is from 8 to 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. And so we have set this up. That was originally, like Berta said, supposed to be an entire day's event. We made it an hour and a half so that you can manage it in bite-sized pieces in the midst of your life, because of course we're home. We're not in the convention setting in person. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to have Zoom meetings for the technology distance learning session, which I just call the technology intensive for all intents and purposes. But Kelly Barth, who is from Simply Liturgical Music, and I will be the co-hosts along with his wife, Carly, for the event. And what we are going to do for the technology distance learning session next week is we really are going to focus on three main buckets of technology, because to me, technology kind of sounds like eating healthy. I mean, technology is such a large, broad term. So we're going to keep it into three buckets that we think will be the most efficient and impactful right now for you in your lives right now. So the first one is we're going to explore technology to help you engage with your ministry and your ministers more effectively. Now, I want to be clear too, this entire technology distance learning session is not going to be a COVID-19 session, okay? The entire session will be, the planning was affected, of course, by COVID-19. But we are going to look at different ways to virtually engage with your ministers, and then also virtually engage with your ministers, but also be ready for an in-person gathering at any time as well. So some of the things that we'll be covering on night one will be things like how to communicate virtually with your choir members and your cantors outside of simply an email, which is nice, but how to explore things like a Facebook group, or how to use Flocknote for the first time, or other type of mass communication pieces of software that you can use. We are going to talk about live streaming the Mass. I feel like we couldn't have a technology session right now without talking about live streaming, but we're not going to let that be the entire time, although it could be. But we are going to talk about live streaming the Mass, and we are going to talk about live streaming or pre-recording other events or doing other things with technology to engage with your ministers other than the Mass. So we have some ideas, like, for example, we're going to talk about how to set up a podcast. Personally, at my church, where I'm the director of music, we didn't start pre-recording or live streaming Masses every weekend. We started a podcast because we wanted to do something different, because our diocese had so many Masses that were being live streamed. So we're going to go through all different ways to engage with your ministers, whether you are self-isolated or not. The second night, we're going to feature ways to plan and prepare digitally and with paper for your ministry. So the next night is what I'm calling a hybrid model of planning. So of course, one of the things that I will admit during COVID-19 that was so tough was that we went from being totally in person to totally at home. And so, how does one produce music or plan for their liturgies when we're really stuck at home? So night two will feature talking about paperless planning, copyright licensing, as well as things like recording from home. If you had to buy one microphone to record your audio from home, what would it be? What type of technology can you use on a shoestring to record things that will help prepare your ministers, let's say, for a liturgy from home if you can't fully engage in person? And then night three is what I'm calling Techie Night. I have a more professional name than that, but that's what I call it myself. But Techie Night is just going to be digging into more advanced topics that actually the group is going to be giving us feedback on in advance, and we're going to circle back on any more topics that people want to really dig into in small groups. So every night is going to feature a combination of a presentation, and then we break into small subgroups on Zoom so that you can bring your technology, you can talk about what's working and what's not, and we're going to be as hands-on as you can virtually. So that's a little bit about the technology virtual experience next week, the distance learning session. It will be June 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. I really highly encourage you to sign up for it. I know it's my own workshop, but I mean, if we have learned anything in the last 3 months, it's that we need to be abreast of technology. And so I really do encourage you guys to really consider coming with us. It is open to everyone, NPM members or not. If you're not signing up for the convention, although I hope you are, you can just do this. It does not have to be connected to your convention registration. So that's my spiel on the technology and ministry for the liturgy and beyond. And I really do hope you join us. Berta, let's go. Why don't you talk next about the DMMD retreat a little bit, if that's okay?
Sure.
Okay.
I know you have that slide. Good. So this is going to be offered by Dr. Steve Janko. Again, an event that was supposed to be an all-day event. I think the timing was 9 to 3, 9 to 4, something like that in Louisville. And we pretty much have decided that all of these need to be broken up into 2 or 3 day bites because it is just so much information. Again, they're going to follow the same timeline as Amanda's Institute of 8 to 9:30 Eastern Time, hoping that that's a reasonable time even on the West Coast and Central Time, all these 4 time zones that we have to manage. Steve is really excited about this event. And I think that there are 2 things about this event that I think are extra special. The first is that if you're a member of the DMMD, but don't normally go to the convention, you have never had the opportunity to participate in one of these retreats, and you are missing out. They're great. And this is an opportunity. If you are a DMMD member, there is no charge to attend this retreat. If you are not a DMMD member, but you'd like to know more about what the DMMD does or what this retreat is it worthwhile? Is it something you might want to do in the future? You also can attend this retreat. It's $40 if you're not a DMMD member. But again, 3 great nights to just spend some time really looking at our giftedness and what it really means to be baptized and how are we serving and how are we served in the church. So it's a great opportunity, and I'm hoping you guys will take full advantage of it. All these 4 time zones that we have to manage. Are we serving?
Sorry, guys.
We served in the church.
I was trying to check the comments and then it went at the same time. Sorry, I felt like I was in an alternate reality universe there. All right, so we've covered, of course, the technology distance learning session, and we've talked about the DMMD retreat. Let's talk a little bit, if you're okay about it. Let's talk about the Chant, the Chant distance learning session, because I'm really excited about this one. So, do you mind just again giving a little bit of info on this one?
Sure. So we are so fortunate. So when we were going to be in Louisville, we're just across the river from St. Meinrad Arch Abbey, and we had this wonderful relationship with St. Meinrad. We've been working with them over the last few years and really supporting their chant sessions that they offer. They have 2 chant retreats a year, and we have really been suggesting them. I actually attended one, oh my gosh, it seems like 100 years ago, but I believe it was just in February. And we are so lucky because we have Brother Joel and Brother John Mark and Sister Gina who are going to be with us virtually. We're running this one a little bit differently because there's so much content to cover. We're actually going to cover 3 dates, 3 sessions as distance learning, meaning you're going to watch a video on your own. You're going to have access to some resources, any additional planning that you need to be doing or any additional research you need to do, you're on your own for those dates. And then the 3 other dates, then we'll do live in-person Zoom, where you'll have the opportunity to ask questions. So let me just tell you a little bit about what each of those days sessions is going to cover. So the first session, we're going to really cover that as a chant primer. So if you don't know what a noom is, how to read a noom, what the difference between the nooms are, where did they come from, why don't we use standard notation, great opportunity to learn a lot more about that. And that is a pre-recorded session that I believe we're going to be able to make available to you on June 6th. So 1 full week in advance. The session 2, which is June 13th, we're going to talk about Psalms and Gospel acclamations. We're hoping that we can talk a little bit about what organ accompaniment means when you're chanting and how the organ can help as we chant. The 3rd session, which again would be pre-recorded and would be delivered to your mailbox, is Intro to Modality and Psalm Tones. And Brother Joel is going to work with us on that one. Again, just giving us an understanding of, what do all those numbers mean when we see it's mode 6, it's mode 8, it's mode 4, whatever. The 4th session is going to talk about the Exultet and the Pentecost sequence, things that we tend to really dread as musicians and music directors. And I think that a lot of times we dread it because we don't understand it. And once we understand better, we're able to do a better job with it, and then also share the joy of those texts, which I think are so powerful. Session 5, again, that pre-recorded session, will be on chant and Lectio Divina, and how that can impact your own spirituality and the spirituality of your choir members, your parish, your small group, whatever you might be praying with. And then finally, on June 27th, we'll talk about the introits of Advent and the Christmas Mass. Again, something that we normally shy away from. It's something extra in the Mass. Do we have to do that? Do we need to do that? Why should we do that? Why can't we just sing, "O come all ye faithful," and be done with it? Here's a great way to have a better understanding and just really broaden your own horizons about these other opportunities. So again, this is a great opportunity. It's just, if you love chant, this is definitely for you. And if chant is something that you kind of either are afraid of, or you just don't think it's your cup of tea, here is a wonderful opportunity to learn so much more about this genre of music that really does have pride of place in our liturgies and should have pride of place in our parishes.
And I want to mention too that, of course, these dates for the chant learning sessions are on Saturday afternoons, the ones that you have to, that you'll be attending. So
yes,
a little bit differently.
Just 1 hour each on those Saturdays too.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd be very aware of how much time you guys have on Saturdays.
Right, exactly. Good. And again, just like all the other ones, they're open to NPM members and non-members. So if you have people that you know, if any of you are watching this that are not an NPM member, please feel free to join us on that. All right, good. So we have just a couple more right here. Let's go to, let's see, what's next? I think it's the organ crawl. Yeah, okay, good. So what do we need to know about the organ crawl?
So the organ crawl was originally set to be just like every other organ crawl at every convention, where you get on a bus, you go to a church, you get some information about the organ, somebody plays it, sometimes you get the opportunity to play, you get back on the bus, you go to the next location. And there was a lot of concern about whether or not we could actually do this organ crawl virtually. But in honesty, it was our most impactful and most registered for event already for the convention at the beginning of April. So we know how important it is to everybody. And in fact, we actually had a wait list for it. So we wanted to figure out a way to make it special. So on June 26th, we will be broadcasting just like this, except that we actually are here in real person, but we'll have a pre-recorded event. They actually are recording this even as we speak. They are going to these churches, and they will have an organist from each church talking a little bit about the church itself, the organ, and then playing a piece as well. And at the end, we will be able to offer an opportunity for Q&A. So again, just like this, you'll be able to write in comments, and we will actually have people there from the churches who can answer those questions. I think it's going to be really fun. The third one is really cool. I think that Austin organ is going to be incredible, and they're hoping to get some great video inside and outside of that instrument. So I think it's going to be really fun. It's also kind of fun to be able to go to one of these and be sitting down, either eating your lunch, having some dinner, having a glass of wine, having a bourbon, whatever you might be in the mood for as you're doing it as well.
Yeah, that's a good point. That is the perk of having it at home. You can have a drink during it.
Or be in your pajamas if you
want to be in your pajamas. That's correct. All right, good. All right, so we got one more to just highlight, and then I want to dig into something else, Berta, if you're okay with that. Sure. So then the last thing I want to talk about real quick is actually the Holy Land tour. So let me just look at that right here. So the Holy Land tour, would you mind just giving a little bit of background on that?
Sure. So this is another one that we had to make some modifications to. For anybody that visited Louisville the last time we were there and did the Holy Land tour, Kentucky is just really rich with Catholic heritage, and so many stories and so much to be seen and to be prayed about, and just really grow your spirituality as well. So the way that this tour is going to be handled, we're going to do a little bit differently. Amanda, do you mind scrolling down just a little bit, because I want to make sure that I quote the area correctly. I think I have the information right. So A few years ago, the Archdiocese did a history of the Holy Land experience in Louisville. And so we're going to be taking some of that footage, but then we're also going to be visiting the Archdiocese History Center to see artifacts about this important time, which is something that we wouldn't be able to fit in if we were actually in real skin taking this tour. Again, because of the space and being able to get from place to place, they're not all next door to one another, but because of the joys and wonder of technology, we can get them all clipped together in just a short hour-long time. And then again, afterwards, we're going to have an opportunity to speak with some of the people that actually put together that original history that Louisville had done. And they will have just so many great stories to tell us, and then answers for all of your questions. So again, a great, great event.
I do say one of the things that I've really liked so far planning for the virtual convention is actually how we've been able to extrapolate all of these events, because it has given, I think it's going to give people a lot of opportunity to go to things that they wouldn't have been able to go to before. So again, I thank you for talking about these. I think it's really important because, you know, when we think of the convention, usually, in person, we think of all of this in 4 days. And thankfully, the silver lining to all of this is, like we've just said, you can pick and choose what you want to go to here. So we highly recommend exploring these. You can register for them at different points. Of course, the technology one is going to be the soonest. So that registration is ending this Sunday. So you have just a couple days to sign up for that as well. So let's go into something else, if that's okay, Berta. So let's talk about the virtual convention a little bit. So we've had a lot of people ask us, okay, one of the things I love the most about a convention is the group. I love being with people. And, you know, I got to agree with them. It's one of my favorite things about going to convention. It's like our Super Bowl, if you will. So can you talk about, and I'll also brainstorm and give some info too, but for those who want to attend the virtual convention in a group setting, or with their group, if you will, with their people that they usually attend with, how do you do it? Let's have some ideas that we're going to throw out.
Yeah, great. So, and you know, I think it's nice because if we had done this Q&A a month ago, I think we would be talking about a few different things, because as we continue and as this time has continued to draw out much longer than we originally expected it to, we've all learned how to connect. We've all learned, I mean, Zoom, it's in my head, it's really a 4-letter word, but Zoom for us has now become a way of life. This is Amanda and I, this is our 4th Zoom meeting of the day, just 4. And
That's
we still
correct.
have another one after this. So together, so it's kind of crazy. But I think that we have actually already learned how to connect. So how then do we take what we already know about how we connect with our family, or how we connect with our choirs, or how we connect with our staff, and how do we apply that to the convention? So I'm just going to give you a couple of things that popped into my head that I am expecting to do with my friends. And that's, first of all, buddy up. If there is somebody that you meet every year at convention, you live in California and they live in New York, and you always look forward to every year because you always meet together on Tuesday and you attend the showcase together and you go to a breakout together. There's no reason you can't do that now. Buddy up with that person, make a plan, invite someone else. In our live classroom settings, you actually will be able to, just in Zoom, as hopefully you're taking advantage of this in your other areas of your life, in the chat box, to enter into a conversation with just one other attendee. So if there's a friend that you normally attend with, Amanda and I are attending across the country, I can type her a message and say to Amanda, oh my gosh, that's a great idea. I can't wait to do that with my choir. And she could say, oh, I did that and it worked great. So you really, it's almost like passing notes in school, except the teacher's not going to yell at you, which is really nice. I think also the ability to invite your staff. If there is a topic that you think is really, really important, or you think that your staff would really benefit from, take your laptop into the office that day and invite them to all come to lunch with you and watch that workshop with you. 6 feet apart, or however you need to do it by that time, and have them have a discussion about it. Same thing with your choirs. of course, one of my favorite things, and Amanda's and I, we do this together frequently, that we end up meeting over our lunch hour. Usually Amanda's eating chickpeas and I'm eating trail mix, because that's about as much as we're going to get together for lunch. But to either plan a lunch date with your chapter or with your choir. And maybe you're not watching an event during that time, but maybe you talk about what you went to that morning or about what you're planning to go to that evening, just like you would if you were in Louisville. That note comparing. Hey, did you see this speaker? But here's the real plus. You saw that speaker that morning and your friend didn't. Now they have the ability to go back and watch that again and converse with you about it, where we don't have that opportunity when we're together in person. Get together for a virtual happy hour. Do something there and then attend one of the events or two of the events that evening, one of the concerts. I think that the concerts are going to be really, first of all, they are so creative, and most of them are actually being recorded. We have 3 that are being recorded today that I know of, 2 that we've recorded earlier this week. So I know that things are happening, and I think you guys can be so impressed. If you're a chapter director, I really want you to think about how you can use this virtual experience to the benefit of your chapter. I think when I was a chapter director, one of the hardest parts for me was trying to imagine, what can we do together? There are 3 areas that we really recommend that chapters are looking at together as part of our baptismal call. And that's that we're doing something that's formational. That's we're doing something that is social justice related, and that we're doing something that is networking and feeding our friendly spirits as well. So here's so many opportunities. Get involved in the Water Step project that we are doing with Louisville. If you don't know anything about it, visit our website. Really, all you need to do is donate your shoes. They prefer that they're athletic shoes, but they'll take any kind of shoes. I think it would be terrific if our chapters could get a box together and just everybody drop them off at somebody, whoever's the local house, that we could send those in, because I think we can really support that project really well. And then your social justice duty for the year, if you haven't already been doing it with food drives and driving people and doing other things, making masks or what other things we've been doing, is already met. Formation's kind of a no-brainer. There's so much. Again, find a mega, find a plenum that you think is incredibly useful. Get your chapter together and watch it with them. Do some follow-up questions. Maybe you've been looking for a speaker to invite into your chapter, but you weren't sure who you wanted to do. Here's a great chance to hear a lot of speakers and pick from them. And again, the networking is pretty easy. Thank heavens for the 4-letter word of Zoom. Get yourselves together and compare notes and talk about it. I think we are creatives. That's what we do. That's what we do in our profession. We create music, we create prayer, we create experience, we create friendships. We can create these group opportunities to come together. We just have to think a little harder and then just make the effort to do it.
I think that gives us a lot of really good ideas. Gave me some ideas, actually, of people that I need to reach out to be honest with you. Okay, so we've been on for a while. We're about to go into our last section of what we're going to talk about, but I do want to do a little call to action to those who are listening or watching. Believe it or not, we didn't get to everything we wanted to talk about today. And so Berta and I, as we were prepping, we decided that we are going to actually share more information about the virtual convention this Monday on our Ministry Monday podcast. So we are going to cover on the podcast on Monday things like, what are the types of content that you can expect at the virtual convention? What's the difference between a live event and a non-live event? How is this going to work? We really break it down there, and we just are not going to have enough time today to do that. So please listen to this Monday's Ministry Monday episode. It's not going to feature the summer formation events as much. That's what we wanted to focus on today. But listen this Monday. It's ministrymonday.org or wherever you get your podcasts. Please, please, please listen. I think it's really going to be a big help for everyone. Okay, so the last thing we wanted to do is we wanted to make a little bit of an announcement. So yeah, I know after so many weeks of us preparing this, it's like we're birthing it a little bit. Can I make the announcement? Can I say it?
Yes.
Okay, so we are proud of the fact that we have been working very hard on the convention platform. So in the past, we have had our phones, of course, mostly. We mostly use our cell phones at an in-person convention. We've had convention apps in previous years. That's wonderful. But this year is going to be a little bit different. We're all most likely going to be sitting in front of our laptops and our tablets. And so for this reason, it had to look a little bit different. And on top of that, too, we have to, in some way, video broadcast all of the convention content that we wanted to get to you via this vehicle. So we're proud to share that we are in the infancy stages of the virtual convention platform. And we are actually going to give you the first access to it ever. Now, we're going to show you a sneak peek of it today. It will be live for you on Monday. We will be announcing and giving the website address on Monday on social media, on our website, on Sunday Word, which is if you're an NPM member, you get that. And so please keep all of these channels available on Monday because you will get the web address at that point as well. But at this point, let's give it a go. What do you say, Berta?
I'm so excited. And you guys, you have no idea how hard we've worked today to just get this to a place that we were willing to share it with you, because we still have the weekend before Monday to finish this up in our very, very long dog day that we've been experiencing, where we just nap in between. So I can't wait to show you. You're going to be so impressed with it.
Yeah, and I do have to say too, I want to say disclaimer, today and Monday, what we show you is not the final product. This is just a sample page. So you can go in and start to feel around and realize that actually the technology for the convention is going to be probably pretty straightforward. Mm-hmm. In some ways, it's going to look like a normal website. You're going to not have to download any software like you have to with Zoom, really. I mean, you don't have to download any additional software to access the platform. You will be given security credentials similar to logging into your email. So I hope you see as we walk you through this right now that this should be very manageable. So with that being said, let's give just a teeny little bit right now. And so we give you the virtual convention platform. This is the this is the home page. We're just going to show you two quick pages right now. So this is the virtual convention homepage. The homepage will be where you can find the basic summary of announcements throughout the convention, as well as any key points or key links that we want you to have. So right now we just have a sample welcome screen right now on. I will say that right now, next week, when you get first access to this, the sample page, we do have some sample page offerings that we will be giving you. We have a couple of concerts from our lunchtime concert series that we have up, so you can kind of feel around with the platform and realize how easy it will be to access content. We also have a key change that was released early, thanks to Liam Lawton, on Unpacking the Rosary. That was a Thursday Thought at 3 a couple weeks ago. And then we want to especially thank Sister Sandy Damasi, as she actually released her mega breakout, Christ is Present in the Church, early, so that you can access this and realize how easy the platform will be to use. So thank you to Sister Sandy for allowing us to do that. We're giving it to you for free. So even if you don't sign up for the convention, you can go watch a mega breakout for free. Mm-hmm. So I just want to take a minute real quick. I'm going to stop my share so that I don't give away all of our secrets. And then I will show everyone the full agenda schedule. So what we're going to do here is you're going to have two different views for your schedule every day. The one we're going to show you today is the master schedule. We're going to give you two options, the master schedule, which is ready for you to see, and then the day-by-day schedule, which is going to look very similar to what you're used to in a convention booklet. So just like you used to grab that convention program and go to every page and have that layout, you're going to see that on a day-by-day basis. But for now, we have prepared the master calendar for you to experience. So let's take a look together. All right, so what we see here is so you'll see here at the top of the page here, when you access this on Monday, that any free content that we're giving you now to take a look at is here and available. It will say Monday, June 1st. That means you can access it now. We will warn you though, after that, you're probably not going to see anything on this schedule until July 7th. Well, that's the rest of the convention schedule. We're also going to warn you, if you click on all of these links on Monday, there's not going to be much there because it is not meant to be there yet. This is meant to give you a very small taste for anyone. And then anyone who registers for the convention will be able to see any videos, any other types of files and resources for breakout sessions. None of that is here yet on purpose. We just want you to feel around with the schedule and realize how easy it will be to kind of really get a sense of this. So we have really walked through the convention day by day here as well. Although this, you'll even get an additional visual that is a little bit closer to the convention brochure that you know. But you should see that in general, we really tried to make this color-coded and easy to follow. And we hope you noticed too that we tried to accommodate all the East and West Coast time zones. So, you know, overall for the convention, we're starting later than normal, you know, like morning prayer is not till 9:30 on Tuesday. Well, that's on purpose. That's because we're trying to make sure that those who are on the West Coast don't have to get up at 4 in the morning in order to be a part of, well, the convention. So things are going to be a little bit different timing wise. Our plenum addresses are going to be in the evenings instead of often in the mornings, which we're used to the most. Again, we did that on purpose. We did that so that those who are on the West Coast can join us for things like this. And they don't have to get up at 6 a.m. and wake their whole family up. So you're going to also notice too that we tried to put a couple of breaks in your schedule as well. We put breaks in your schedule because we know it's hard to sit in front of a computer. So what's nice is you can take these breaks, or you can just go back to something. If you need a personal break or you're unavailable for something, you can go back throughout the week and listen to whatever you missed as on-demand content. So as you can see here, in general, we hope that you kind of fish around with the schedule and fish around with the homepage and fish around with some of the sample events that we'll have at the top of the page right here. It's going to be under schedule. Let me see if I can do this. Schedule, and then full agenda. If you click these Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Fridays, they're going to be empty. They're not ready yet. That's okay. But we have prepared the full agenda for you so that you can start to feel around. And we encourage you to go check out some of this new content that we have for you here. So again, that will be available for everyone for a week starting on Monday.
And also, and we didn't look at this today, but make sure you look at like the exhibit hall experience, because so many people have said to me, what is an exhibit hall going to look like? We have populated the NPM site, so you'll see what our NPM booth looks like. Our exhibitors are working really hard to bring you some fun and playful content on their pages and give you an opportunity to learn more about them and their products. So it's really going to be good. For those of you that have been saying, I can't even imagine a virtual convention. Now you don't have to imagine it anymore. You can actually go and get a little experience of it. And we're really hoping that that's helpful for you, because we've been breathing this and living it, and we couldn't imagine it 4 weeks ago. And so we're really hopeful that you guys will enjoy this experience of the sample page.
And I do want to say again, and I'm sorry for sounding like a broken record, but remember, this is just a sample page. This is meant to help you realize that this will be as user-friendly as they come in terms of technology. We know we've heard from a lot of you concerned that the technology might be a little bit too daunting. We're doing everything we can to make it user-friendly and also very high quality. So one of the things that we are always cognizant about too is we have all been on calls or live streams where the audio is not good or the Wi-Fi is not good, and we end up watching a buffering screen. We're doing everything we can to prevent that. And I want to thank, by the way, all the speakers and presenters who are preparing content in advance so that it can be as smooth as possible. So thank you seriously to everyone. So at this point then, I'm going to give it an extra second right now. If you have any other questions for us, now's the time. I will say we kind of have to stick to these topics. But in the meantime, while I'm waiting for people to post some comments, Berta, do you think we talk, we're going to talk about it on Ministry Monday, but do you think it would be good to mention the hotel situation right now to give a little hotel update?
Yes.
Okay.
So thank you guys so much for your patience. We have been so fortunate that the Galt House was willing to negotiate with us, and certainly to refund deposits that were made for anything that was going to happen during the convention. They are working on them. Just like our churches, just like all of our offices, they are working with a very, very tiny staff right now. Louisville is still locked down, but is beginning to open up more. Right now, they have one person in the accounting office that is managing any of their refunds. That is not something that they can do from home because they want to make sure that everything is really secure. We're talking about your credit card information, et cetera. So that's why this is taking longer. They give me an update almost weekly. They are working on them. They have told me that they believe that they should be fully processed within 6 weeks. They're hoping that as they're able to bring in more staff, that they're going to get that done sooner. So again, I cannot thank you enough for your patience. We have not forgotten about you. They are working on it.
Good. I'm glad you addressed that. Well, Berta, we must have stumped them because we have no questions today.
What?
Maybe they're all, I don't know. Maybe they're just all so excited that
they're giddy. They're giddy. They're giddy from seeing the sample site.
Well, either way, this has been a long live stream, and we're really grateful that a lot of you stuck it out with us. We're really grateful for your patience with all of this too, because honestly, we know it's different. We know it's new. But I can tell you personally that it's been very exciting to watch. And oh, actually, we have one more announcement to say too. If you access the website this week, the sample page for the virtual convention platform, and you like what you see and you feel comfortable with it now, we have extended our promotion of the registration that includes for free the Throwback Thursday dates that we will be offering to anyone that registers early for the fall. So what that means is originally we were supposed to end that deadline on June 1st, but because we wanted you to access the website, or I should say the convention platform, we are going to extend that until the 5th. Is that correct, Berta? Yes,
that's right,
the 5th. Yep, June 5th. Absolutely. So you have all week this week. If you like it, you can register and you get those free Throwback Thursdays, which will be, tell me the dates again, Berta. We've set a lot of dates today.
October 8th and November 12th. And chapter directors, if you're out there, or choir directors, those are Thursdays, Throwback Thursdays. Great opportunity already to plan into your calendar to just take advantage that evening or sometime in that day with your group to watch something specific from the convention. So October 8th and November 12th.
Excellent. Good. We do have 2 questions actually real quick. So just regarding the hotel refunds, we don't need to do anything. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, great. All right, great. And then the last question, just to circle back, I know we addressed it a little bit, but how do you do a group watch? We talked a little bit about that, but someone just asked it again. How would you do a group watch for the convention?
So I think that you have to, again, you kind of have to think outside of the box. Our events that are going to be live stream, live broadcast, I never use the right term, so Amanda will get frustrated with me.
That's all right, I'll tell you later.
Concerts, our plenums, our megas. You can actually watch those on your device at the same time with your friends. Again, you'll see their comments running up. I've actually been watching some of the concerts that we've been seeing, our Wednesday concerts or Thursday thoughts, and being on the phone with a friend who was watching them at the same time and being able to say, oh my gosh, did you hear that? So take advantage of other technology as well. But as far as things that you might want to see on demand that you would do with a friend, I think for the most part, you're going to just watch those on your own or go to one of our Zoom classrooms for specifically a breakout where you can log into the chat box and you can find your friend. I would see the chat box drop down. I'd say Amanda, and I would click on Amanda, and then only Amanda is seeing what I'm typing to her. And then she would answer back to me. So you can actually be in the same space with your friend and have a chat with them at the same time.
I also want to say too, not to get too technological, but Facebook just recently released a software update where they've created their own comparable to Zoom, which is called Facebook Meeting Rooms or Facebook Meetings. And so, while we 100% encourage you to use the platform, if let's say you wanted to do a chapter hangout for your local chapter one night, you can use Zoom, which is of course great, but let's say you don't have Zoom or you don't want to pay for Zoom. Facebook now offers Messenger rooms where the only requirement is that one person who begins the room or creates the room is a Facebook member. The other people that join do not have to be a member of Facebook. So that's really nice because I know there are people out there who don't use Facebook. So you can actually create your own video chat room where you see each other's faces, you get to speak to each other. So if you wanted to do a debrief or you wanted to schedule a lunch, and let's say you have someone that doesn't necessarily want to use Zoom, Facebook Messenger rooms are brand new. I mean, I think they just premiered in April. So they're brand new. We're going to talk about them on the technology virtual, the workshop next week, but that's another option too. So if you, let's say you have someone that doesn't want to use Zoom or something like that, or maybe their Zoom isn't long enough, they don't pay for it, and so it's only 40 minutes. You can always use a different piece of technology. All right, so I think that finally did get all of the questions. If you have any questions about registering for any of the summer formation events, because I did see that at some point on my screen right here, you can always email us. Mine is Amanda@npm.org.
And I'm Berta@npm.org.
Exactly. And so we can always address them. Essentially, to sum it up in a very quick nutshell, you can register online at npm.org and go to the convention registration. But when you get there, if you're not registering for the convention at that time, you can simply choose not registering for convention on the registration dropdown, and you will be able to register for separate summer formation events. And I know Kathleen is listening, and I'm sure she's going to correct me, but I just want to make sure you can sign up for a summer event and then register for the convention on another day. Is that correct, Bert?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, great. So, okay, good. Thanks, Kathleen. I didn't say anything incorrect.
Or if you're already registered and you want to add this event, you can. If you get there and you want to do an add-on and you're having difficulty with it, let us know, and we can certainly help you walk through that.
Okay, great. All right, thank you all so much for your time today. Thank you for your interest and your patience. We do plan to do another convention Q&A after the sample site has closed so that we can continue to give you updates for the convention. But in the meantime, have a great weekend. Stay close to all the ways you connect with us, and we will be in touch in the coming weeks. We're excited to hear what you think about the sample site. We're getting close.
Make sure you visit it. You're going to love it.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Take care and have a great weekend.